Good morning, Sophie.
Well, it does feel as if the momentum is behind Boris Johnson to be the next Prime Minister, and he, of course, has said that he is prepared to take the UK out of the EU without a deal if that's what it takes. Are you going to try and stop him?
Yes, because it would be completely irresponsible for any Prime Minister to do that because of the economic damage it would do to the country. We took evidence again in the Select Committee this week from representatives of manufacturers, car makers, farmers, the food and drink industry. And you just have to look at what they said. They said it would be disastrous. It was simply not an option. Economic vandalism were the words used by the representative of Make UK that represents manufacturers in the United Kingdom. How can any Prime Minister advocate that? And what is clear, Sophie, as we know already, is that the House of Commons does not support a no-deal Brexit, and there is no mandate from the referendum for a no-deal Brexit because the Leave campaign never argued for it.
You say there's no mandate, but at the same time, some people who voted Leave in that referendum will be looking at MPs like yourself and thinking, look, you're just trying to stop the democratic will. OK, perhaps many people would have liked to leave with a deal, but if it was a choice between not leaving at all and leaving without a deal, that is what they would go for. They believe that that is a true Brexit. Well, and MPs voted to leave as well.
Well, I don't think it is, because look, what has occupied British politics for the last 3 years? Why is Parliament deadlocked? Because the referendum didn't decide what the future economic relationship with the EU would be after we have left, and the current Prime Minister, Theresa May, tried 3 times to get Parliament to approve her deal. We did not, and whoever wins the Tory leadership contest will return to find the same numbers in the House of Commons. And the last time we voted formally and specifically on whether we supported a no-deal Brexit or not, that was defeated by 400 votes to 160.
At the same time, you lost your attempt last week, though, didn't you? It's not as if it's always clear-cut that you're always winning all the votes that you put forward.
Well, the vote last week was a procedural motion, a business motion to, as we say, book a slot on the parliamentary agenda. But the last time we voted just on the question, does Parliament approve or not approve a no-deal Brexit, it was a huge defeat for a no-deal Brexit. And there is no mandate for it. And I don't think whoever wins can somehow claim that being elected by the Conservative Party membership is a mandate for something that Parliament has already rejected and was not argued for by the Leave campaign during the referendum.
I just wonder, will you be able to do what you hope? You haven't got much time, have you? I mean, Parliament breaks over summer, you're taking all of August off, come back for a couple of weeks, then your party conference season. We're supposed to be leaving on October. Have you got time to do this?
Well, it is going to be difficult, but the same problem will apply to the new Prime Minister, because the idea that the withdrawal agreement is going to be reopened in negotiation, the EU's made it very clear it won't. But look, I think there are 1 or 2 other options using the parliamentary rulebook to enable MPs to do their job, which is to express their view. But look, if it comes down to it, and the House of Commons votes to pass a motion to say this House does not agree to the United Kingdom leaving the EU without an agreement, is it seriously being argued by whoever becomes Prime Minister that they're going to say to MPs, I'm going to ignore what you have just said? I don't think that that is a politically or indeed a constitutionally sustainable position. And that's why I've come to the conclusion, and a growing number of MPs have, although we are not yet a majority, that the only way to break the deadlock is to present the real choices to the British people. On the one hand, this is what Leave looks like, and on the other hand, this is the option of Remain. I don't know whether the British people have changed their minds or not, because the other thing we've learned, Sophie, after 3 years, is that the promise that was offered, we can have all our sovereignty back, said the Leave campaign, but don't worry, we're going to maintain all of the economic benefits. David Davis, exact same benefits, easiest trade deal in history.
Doesn't this just feed into people's suspicions, though? You say, look, we're just trying to avoid the economic vandalism of a no deal, and yet people will hear you talking about another referendum and think, this is what it's about. I knew it all along. It's about MPs trying to block Brexit.
No, it's about taking the real choice 3 years on back to the British people. And that is democratic. After all, as you know, Sophie, the Prime Minister tried twice to return to the House of Commons to get us to vote for her deal and said it was democratic. I don't disagree with that. I think the government was entitled to do it. You might call it ill-advised. But if it's democratic to ask MPs whether they've changed their mind about the Prime Minister's deal, is it actually undemocratic to say to the British people, we're stuck? Now, you may criticise us for the fact that Parliament is deadlocked, but we can't go on like this, because whether you are a Brexiteer or a Remainer, the damage that is being done to our international reputation, to our economy, from the uncertainty that we haven't yet resolved this question, it seems to me that's the only way you can sort this out.
A quick thought from you on the idea of proroguing Parliament. It's something one of our guests on the show has talked about, Dominic Raab. If he becomes Prime Minister, he hasn't ruled out the idea of effectively suspending Parliament if it tries to block no deal.
It would be scandalous to use that to try and, in effect, shut the doors of the House of Commons so that MPs can't meet and express a view. We are elected as members of Parliament to represent our constituents, and we can't do our job if we're locked out, and I simply don't think it's going to happen.